Hello and welcome to the Last Word on Spurs. We are your award-winning Tottenham Hotspur podcast, and we are officially back ahead of another season. New hopes, new optimism, new dreams. Same beautiful old faces here joining us. I call them old. What am I doing? Why am I starting with that? I've got to keep them on side for the season. How can I carry on from this? Listen, if you're with us for the first time, you can find us on iTunes. We're on Spotify. We're across all major audio platforms. We're, of course, on X. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook too. We're joined by, broadcast royalty, Tottenham royalty. He's the voice of Tottenham. We'll come on to him in just a second. Joining us, it's our regular returning panel. Back with me for season 78. Jason McGovern's with me. Jason, how are you, mate?
All right, mate. You like the new garb, do you? Look?
I like that. I like that. Look at that. That's
Top
proper,
notch.
that is. Look at that.
That's my modelling contract.
There we go. We'll start off on that one. I don't know if I can afford his image rights.
You owe me a tenner.
Is that well? Okay. I was going to be concerned with you, your diva nature. I might owe you more than that on image rights.
20 quid, I'd have got my hair done, but you didn't pay me that.
Well, you lost that when we started this bloody podcast. Jordan Jason, nice to have him back on side again. Look, he is Dance United's very own. He's our very own. He's back for season 8, 9, 10, you name it. Ricky J. Norwood's in the building. Ricks, how are you, my man?
I'm good, my friend. It's the beginning of a new season. The hopes are high. The expectation is high. You know, I can't wait. And the trepidation is high too, because, you know, we're going to hit some bumps in the road along the way. But
not already,
go
Rick.
Again.
Not already, Rick.
I know, but here we go again. Remember, we're going to enjoy the good times and support them on the bad times, and we're going to have a great season. I can feel it in my bones. I can't wait to jump in. Let's have it.
That's what I love about Rick. He sets the scene very early for you in terms of expectations. He kind of goes over the fact about the bumps, doesn't really mention it much, and then kind of brings you back into the positive. That's what we love about Ricky J. Norwood. Now, listen, he is the voice of Tottenham. He's the man we all turn to in that stadium and hear the fabulous introductions of all of our Spurs players. He is the one, the only, Tottenham's very own, and it's our very own, the wonderful Paul Coyte is back in the building. Paul, lovely to see you.
I'm great. It's lovely to see you. You know, I'm excited. I can't wait to get going. I don't know about you, and and just Ricky's words there are getting me pumped up. I'm ready to go. In fact, now I'm exhausted. I've overdone it already to start with. So
let's end the season now. Let's end it now. Listen, we're still in all 4 cup competitions. We are not bottom of the league.
We're the same points as City at the moment. It's looking good. I'm liking the way things are looking at the moment.
And we kept the manager for another season. It's the first time in how many years you've done that? 2 consecutive seasons. Unbelievable. Listen, Jace, I asked you last week, are you season ready? We're closing the start. I'll ask you again. Season ready, Jace?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I always look forward to a new season, Rick. I'm delighted we've still got the same manager. Fingers crossed we still have him at the end of the season. Because then I think we'll have had a good one. And just wait for the end of the window, and then the season really starts for me when that transfer window shuts and you just get on with the reality of what you've got rather than moaning about what you haven't got. So, you know, can't wait for that. But yeah, 3 big games before that first international break, and then straight back for the big derby. And it's a good start, mate. Good start.
Yeah, I know Jace hasn't even been back for a break for you or for Ricks. I've been dragging you on here during pre-season. Ricks, how have you enjoyed pre-season? Are you ready to start the madness all over again?
I'm happy pre-season is over. I'm happy that we can stop analysing games when they're just trying to get some minutes in their legs and get up to speed and try new things and make mistakes and be free to make mistakes, you know, without us criticising them. So it's season time now. It's the proper stuff. You know, this is season 2 with Ange at the helm, and we haven't even seen the best of Ange Ball yet. We've only had a very small sample size of it, and I think it's going to be an exciting season. He's got more players that he wants in the squad. You know, there's a lot of expectation there. You know, there's a lot of determination there, and I feel that it's going to be another exciting one. So I'm just really I can't wait to kind of get into the proper stuff. Get into the nit and gritty of the league and you know the excitement of a game starting and then you kind of praying throughout it and then you go up, down, left, right, and then we win at the end and the joy, the jubilation. I just can't wait to jump into some Tottenham Hotspur football because I've missed you boys. I've missed it, and I just can't wait to jump back in, bruv, honestly. And what a way to start as well. against Leicester, we always have fireworks against Leicester. There's always drama. There's always twists. There's always turns. You know, it's their first game back in the Premiership. You know, they're coming back. Harry Winks is there. We've got Madders. We've got ambitions. It's going to be at their house as well. So you know the crowd's going to be up for it. I think it's electric. It's electric. The beginning of any season is always electric. And I think that, like I say, with the second season under Ange, I can't wait to see what 2.0 is going to show us this year.
Just as you said, we've got Harry Winks coming back. Anthony Costa, I could feel his ghost shuddering next to me, thinking, not another player that's going to haunt us, not another one that's going to do it to us, another former player that's going to score against us. Paul, we've got you on a week earlier just to make sure your voice is fully rested ahead of the return to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. How are you feeling ahead of the new season? Pumped, ready, excited? Tell us how you
Always. Yeah, always. Yeah, like we said, you know, all bets. I don't know how. I don't want to get this out of the way. I don't know how I feel about playing on the Monday. I mean, how do you feel about playing on the Monday? We've got, you know, the weekend is got. Is it good that we play last, or would we rather this not make any difference whatsoever? Because I'm so ready to go, and then obviously the games are on Saturday and the Sunday. Then we've got to wait for the Monday for Leicester. But and also I usually have to be in bed by about 9 o'clock, which also is not a good thing. But apart from that. Absolutely, yeah. I'm full of expectation. I always temper it a little bit because I've been a Spurs fan for many, many years, but I'm very excited and can't wait. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think, to be honest with you, there's that excitement about the second season that comes under Ange Postecoglou. I know many do feel that is where a lot of the clubs he's been at, it all does come together. Paul, many want to know, you've been on here a couple of times last season, you told us some of the not uncomfortable, but maybe funny occasions of you meeting Ange Postecoglou.
No, they were uncomfortable. Yeah, they were uncomfortable. Yeah,
I was trying to be polite. Have we finally had a nice meeting with the man? Tell us, Paul.
Yeah, no, what? It was the first time. The first time was the Christmas party, and it was nice. We had a nice chat, and then there was that was the Man City game for the FA Cup. And as I went to shake his hand, he was walking out the tunnel because I thought he was looking at me, but he was looking elsewhere. And my hand slipped, and it was one of those horrible handshakes that was a bit like that. And it went one way, and and I thought, oh Christ, that was a bit embarrassing. And it was only when people started messaging me going, what a nightmare that was, because it was live on ITV, the whole handshake, and it was horrible, and that was embarrassing. Then I did an interview after that with him in front of a load of sponsors, needed to be good. And then my phone started playing some random song in my jacket pocket, and I couldn't turn it off. And then I started panicking, and I couldn't turn the thing off. And he's gone, mate, I think you want to turn the phone off. So it wasn't going well. And I think every time, you know, I'd see him, and I'm thinking he's looking at me, just thinking, yeah, he's an idiot. Yeah, he's an idiot. So anyway, I saw him at the start of the season. Saw him at the Bayern Munich game. Hello, mate. How good to see. It was friendly. It was a good start to the season. I didn't do anything embarrassing. I didn't fall over. I didn't spill a drink on him. So it bodes well. We're like this now. Honestly, I think it's all looking very good.
That will be a relief to everybody that we've got that encounter out the way, successul.
Did you get a word with H, Paul?
You know what, Jace? I got to tell you, I was a bit disappointed because I was lurking around, and I never got to see him. And I thought, you know, and when I came back, I remember after I'd left and came back again, and he was the first, came over and gave me a hug. It was lovely, and I thought, oh well, it'd be great to see Harry. And I was around the area when we were doing the handing over of the commemorative cockerels that went to him and Eric Dyer, but not close enough. So I never got to speak to him. So that was really disappointing. But yeah, whatever. I mean, he's a Bayern Munich player. He's a Bayern Munich player. Yeah, so that's okay.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
okay. But Sonny though, hug from Sonny, who, if anybody, I know I just want to say that if anybody has not changed over the years, from the moment he came in and didn't speak a word of English, to now, he has not changed. He is honestly the loveliest person and has not changed at all. So absolutely, I would never, and he's my favourite, I think, of every Spurs player that I've ever interviewed over the years. That good. So it was lovely to see him.
Even now, I think the one thing we saw actually with that Min-hyuk interview did midweek is that he's still got that unbelievable passion for the football club, that desire.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's great to see him. Listen, long may that continue. Long may that continue. Now, of course, Ange has been holding his pre-match presser ahead of the game, of course, at the weekend. Spurs returning back to action in the Premier League. He was asked, how different does it feel to the first year and what demands are you putting on the players? And his response to that was that, from his perspective, the Daya took over, the players were always my players. We feel a lot more settled and better prepared for what's ahead of this upcoming season. This time last year, we were still a lot of the unknowns happening in and around the football club. As we know, Harry Kane, listen, as we know, that situation last season was incredible going into the start of the season. And when you consider we had the 10 games unbeaten, we were all in absolute dreamland, weren't we? We can't deny it. I mean, the start to last season was incredible. But he does, again, in his perspective, say that we're a lot more better set up for this upcoming season. He was asked about the targets for this time round. He said, look, I go into every season with the same kind of target of trying to be successful. The starting point for us is always about improvement in our football, improvement in our consistency. And from his perspective, he didn't want to set targets, as he never really liked to do last season. We know how much he brushed away the top 4 question. For him, though, he did admit the focus is always on trying to achieve silverware, playing the best possible football. And I just wonder, coming over to you, Ricks, how much more settled do you feel Ange will be in this second season? Of course, not having a situation around losing the star striker. He has got now a genuine number 9 coming in, albeit 12 months after we sold our last number 9. Do you feel, as a fan, that you're a lot more settled going into this upcoming season?
Oh, you're never settled as a fan, are you? You're never settled as a fan.
Well, we're not. We're Spurs fans.
Never.
Who wants to be settled? Yeah, don't want to settle, do you?
We want to be Spurs fans. We like being unsettled.
Settling's boring.
It is.
About? Do you know what I mean? No, but I think it is positive that Ange is seeing his squad grow. So those that were, under his regime last year, they've now taken up the baton. And they're now the ones that are leading the charge and are sending his message to the younger ones, as well as the younger ones getting it from Andrew as well. But there's a leadership, and there's a kind of seniority there that these guys have been through it before. And doing that as well, whenever you kind of take on that type of role, it almost becomes more important for the person itself. So for someone like Sonny, who is that way anyway, he would have kind of stepped up his discipline, stepped up his responsibility, stepped up his effort, stepped up his energy. He would have stepped up all of those things as an example for them young ones. And that is a benefit to us. So those young ones and the new boys that are coming in right now, they're going to adapt to the style and the system and the requirements a lot quicker because there's a lot more understanding around it. There's a group of players that actually understand what Ange needs and wants. So if there's anybody else that is going to be asking those questions that some of them were asking last year, they can easily be answered. So I think it's really positive and I think it's really exciting. I think, all of the boys are going to go out there and kind of go at 100%, at 100 miles an hour to go and show us all, to prove us all that this is like the 2.0 version of Ange Ball and what's new and what's different and how they've taken the system forward.
Now, Jason, remember you, it wouldn't be plain sailing if it wasn't our club that we're following in Tottenham that we are supporting on the news that we have got a suspension that Spurs have enforced on Yves Bissouma. Now, the latest on this, the club reported, Ange actually reported during his pre-match presser, is that Bissouma has been suspended from the opening Premier League game of the season after the 27-year-old posted a video of himself on social media last weekend, appearing to inhale laughing gas from a balloon. Bissouma did apologise in a statement and said, I want to apologise for these videos. This was a severe lack of judgment. I understand how serious this is and the health risks involved. I also take my responsibility as a footballer and role model very, very seriously. Now, despite that apology, and Postecoglou has taken that decision to remove Bissouma from being able to feature in this upcoming game against Leicester. He said himself, I've been involved in the game for a long time. Even when situations like this arise, I've always tried to look at them in a couple of different ways. One, there's a person involved. In this case, it's Biss. He's made a really poor decision. You want to understand that and want to try and help him as a club, what we can do to try and make sure that he doesn't make these kind of decisions again. With that context, there's still sanctions involved, and some of those sanctions are an education and giving them a clear understanding of how wrong it was. You always want to give people an opportunity to learn from their mistakes. The second part of that, he's a footballer. He has responsibilities to the club, to his teammates, to supporters, and everyone associated with the football club. This news broke, Jace, when actually we was on air last Sunday, and I think at the time we couldn't quite believe it. I think some of us thought it might have been a joke. How do you feel now, Jace, kind of nearly a week on, the news that Spurs have now suspended Bissouma and just taken that decision? Is that the right one in your view?
I think probably the only surprise is it's only one game that they've they've given him. Although officially it might be one game, but whether he plays in the second or third games remains to be seen. It wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't play until after that international break. Everyone's let down by it, aren't they? You know, we live in a world where, you know, professional athletes, regardless of whether they play for Tottenham, Arsenal, they're cricketers, they're tennis players, they're Olympians. It's not the done thing to go and do. It's, you're in the public eye. You just can't go and do it. And, you know, even personally, we wouldn't go on there and do it for sure. So there had to be some kind of action taken. I think the rest of the group, I think the rest of the players would want some kind of action taken. Otherwise, what kind of discipline can you have in the club if you just turn a blind eye to it? I think the one, without trying to go too deep, I think the one thing that one or two people have taken from it today is, why is Bissouma suspended yet Bentancur seemingly has got away with some of the things that he did in the summer, and the comments that he made about Sonny and things, which is a perfectly fair question. You'd probably need a journalist to ask that question rather than us. But I understand that point of view, why that seemingly has been glossed over. But you know, it is what it is, Rick. It's just like I said on the night, none of us are surprised that it was Bissouma doing it. Some of his performances look like he does it pre-game. So it's he needs to sort one or two things out off the pitch for sure.
Rick's come over to you, and so there's some trust building that has to happen between Biss and me, and Biss and the group. That's what he needs to work at from now on to win that back. That's got nothing to do with just the one game. He may be suspended for one game, but he has to earn that. The door is open for him. Hopefully we can help him to realise that decisions he makes impacts more than just him and allows him to make better decisions moving forward. He was then asked finally, what does he have to do to build that trust again? And said, behaviour, mate. It's quite simple. It's making better choices moving forward. And he's obviously disappointed. He was very apologetic, not just to me, but to the club and to everybody involved. But it's just the first part of the process. The next part is the behaviour. He now needs to make sure that he does the things he needs to do, like all of us. We all make mistakes. It's how you find your way back from those mistakes. And what is far more important is than what you just say, which I think was great words from Ange, to be fair. Ricks, I want to ask you, you know, it's not the first time we've had a situation with Bissouma where obviously he's not been on the greatest point of behaviour. I mean, we obviously know that he turned up late to train, I think, on Ange's second day. And at that point, Ange said, look, I want you to be a big part of my plans. I want you to be an influence on the younger members of the group. Are you worried that that message hasn't really sunk in? Because here we are, what are we, nearly 12 months later of an incident like that. Does he still have a long-term future under Ange Postecoglou, given that the transfer window is open? What's your feeling for you on that?
I think this is a tough situation. It's a tough situation that nobody wanted to deal with at this stage. You know, just going into a new season, just going in with all of the goodwill, all of the good energy. And, you know, nobody needed this. Nobody wanted this. I think it's tough for Biss because I think this is almost like the third time. There was a time, I think, under Conte that he wasn't really getting no games. And I think there was a talk about discipline. And then I think what you're talking about there about last season, Ricks, when Ange spoke to him, I think he spoke to him first. And then the next day he turned up late. Do you know what I mean? And I think it was that way around. I can't remember, but I think it was that way around. So then you go, all right, and cool. And then this happens. So you go, is he really taking that seriously? Or is he believing that what he's doing is leadership and he's kind of forgetting what those things are? So I think that what Ange has done has been perfect. I think what he said in a press conference and made it public, not only to the pressers and everybody else out there, but to us fans, the way that he spoke about it, the way that he's held him responsible for his mistake and publicly shown that he's going to be punished for that mistake. Sorries are great, but he spoke about behavior, which means action speaks louder than words right now. So this might be the wake-up call that Biss is needed for a long time, because he's being held to account right now. He's being held, you know, to you know, the standard that he's already set, or the standard that he believes he's at, and the states that he believes he's at, that has been questioned and that has been challenged. And the fact that he's now taken his punishment and now has to earn his way, and I love those words, earn his way back in, might be the shake-up that Biss needs right now. he might need this to kind of go, you know what, maybe I haven't been taking my football seriously. Maybe I have been kind of losing myself in the good times. And when you're surrounded by money and fame and opportunity, sometimes you can get wrapped up. You know, I'm talking from experience. Sometimes you can get wrapped up in that world, and you kind of lose yourself sometimes in that world. And it does take something to kind of just shake you, like to realize who you are, what you're doing, and why you're doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. You know, Biss has been given a gift. He's been given a gift from the universe, from God, that he's out there playing football week in, week out at this level in the Premier League, from where he's come from to where he is right now. And maybe he needed that little shake up to kind of go, maybe I need to get my head down and stop all of the going out and stop the good times. And nobody's saying you can't have a good time, but stop those and really focus on the football, because now he has to earn his way back in. There's plenty of players right now that want his spot. Bentancur wants his spot. Sarr wants his spot. Gray wants his spot. There's a couple in there, mate, that want his spot. So now he's really going to have to step up. And it's not just about sorry against his teammates, because now he's let them down. It might have been the plan that he starts on Monday, but now that's the first letdown that he's had. So now he really has to kind of put his head down and get to work. And maybe this is the shake-up that he needs.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Fingers
crossed. Paul, to bring you in, one of the contenders that might have this spot for the game against Leicester is that of Archie Gray. And was asked, is he a contender for that number 6 spot, or is it too soon to judge? He said Archie has settled in really well. Again, great kid, but a really strong mindset. We've asked him to play a number of different positions so far, but he's handled it really well. Part of that attraction of bringing him in was he can play a number of positions. I mean, Paul, look, young kid, but he's got the world at his feet. Again, he comes from a generational family of obviously Greys that have featured so well in football over the last, 30, 40 years. How excited are you about this young man, Paul? It looks like he's got the world at his feet, potentially.
Yeah, I think football is going younger, isn't it? I mean, we've noticed it at the Euros, and we talk about Lamine Yamal and everybody else, and there's a lot of kids now, and people are realising, and coaches are realising, you know what? Put the faith in these kids because they're good enough and they're fearless, and maybe it's the time. And I think he's ready, and why not? I'd love to see him play. See, the other important thing is that when we're talking about Biss as well, and this is what's going on at the club at the moment, which I really do like, and Ange had mentioned this recently as well in a press conference, is that attitude is as important, if not more important, sometimes than the skill that the player has. Yep. We know players that we've had that have been here and hasn't worked out because you know that there's attitude there. You can see, who on earth can I be talking about? That have ended up getting sold, got rid of, because it's not there. And then it's like, I did an event. It was Johan Lang was talking. Now, Johan Lang is in charge of bringing in these players, and he was across the whole Lucas Bergvall thing. So before Lucas came in, and before they'd signed him, and of course this is a young kid, and there he is there, and he spoke to the family, and he spoke to friends, and they do it. This is not just we like the look of this player. The attitude is also extremely important, because then why this has never been done before. It sounds like it's a revolutionary thing, but it shouldn't be. That they're brought in, they meet the players, because there's got to be chemistry. There's always got to be chemistry amongst a team. And if there are players that actually can't stand each other, I do not believe that you can play as well as if you like each other. But it's also the attitude, whether you've got the right attitude to play for the football club. The other thing is if you want to play for the football club. There's been moments where you get players that will go to clubs, and it's like, well, and it actually has been said, and I've heard rumours that this has been said, that someone's gone, well, I could see this as a stepping stone on to somewhere else. If you think Tottenham Hotspur Football Club is a stepping stone, then we don't want you. And it's the same as anybody else that's thinking, well, I'd rather be playing. You need players that want to come in and play for the club. So everybody that you see that's coming in, and anybody that is going to be coming in the future, trust me, these are not just players that are done on a whim, and it's like, okay, well, they might just fit a hole and they might just serve a purpose for a short space of time. These are very, very well researched players across attitude and also how good they are as well. So, I mean, we've seen it with some of our players last season, for crying out loud. But going forward, I think these are all going to be good players. I'm very, very confident that it's all going to work out well, because so much goes into it now.
I think as well, Rick, that's one of the things I would say, that you have to be careful when when you say the club aren't making ambitious signings, we all can all take our view on what ambitious signings mean. But if you go for so-called ambitious signings in some people's mind, if that player doesn't want to come to your club, it's not necessarily Daniel Levy that's stopping you making an ambitious signing. It's the manager that says, do you know what, if you don't fancy playing for me, mate, I'm not concerned by you. And there can be other reasons why we're not making an ambitious signing in the view of some people's, in the view of some people. That's, you just got to be really careful. As he said, you know, Vicario van der Ven wanted to come. And I've said all summer that the problem when chasing some of the big names is they don't want to come. And Dan seems absolutely, he doesn't want to wait and think, yeah, this player's only coming because we're in the Champions League, or he's only coming because we'll pay him 200 grand a week. Do you want to play for Tottenham? And I think that's why we maybe don't make the moves for some of the linked names, but we do for some of the other ones. And it's not simply the club lacks ambition.
You know, on that point, Jace, you mentioned actually a few minutes ago about Bentancur. He was actually asked about Bentancur about the difficult summer he's had, and in regards to how excited he is to work with what he hopes to be the real version of Rodrigo Bentancur. Even Rodri last year was very much a bit like our season. It was very much stop-start at times. He looked, you know, really good at certain points, got some good rhythm, and sometimes, as we saw, it was an injury or another disruption that caused him to have a lack of form. You can see, though, 12 months down the line after a significant injury, it always takes a player a little bit of time to come back. But I think the way in which Ange was talking about Rodri in this press conference seems to indicate that, you know, will still be very much part of his plans for the upcoming summer and beyond that. How important is it to hear that? Because I think when you look at our midfield, Paul's mentioned it, we are going with a very much young approach, which, don't get me wrong, is great, but I think we've said it many times on here, that when you go for such young players and you rely on that word potential, you do end up then seeing players that have very much kind of up and down periods.
You've got a mix, though, Ricky, haven't you? I mean, you've got to have a mix. I mean, we'll say a young team. It's all very good, and you know, the old thing that was said years ago, you know, you can't win anything with kids, and that's another story with Alan Hansen. But you've got to have a mix.
100%.
It's not only older players and younger players. Alan Mullery always said to me, and he said, you know what you need is lovers and fighters. And he said, at the moment, there's too many lovers and not enough fighters, and it's always a balance.
Yeah.
It's a football team, so you need a bit of everything. And if you've got the balance right, then that's where you're going to have success. Yeah,
and that's a really good point there Paul makes there, Jace. I mean, do you think we've got that balance at the moment, or do you still feel with the weeks remaining we need to try and find that? Because I think, again, as Paul says there, it is a balance. It's a mixture of the two. Have we got that right balance for you at the moment?
I think there's still work to do in the squad, but I think that's acknowledged by Ange himself. I thought on the Bentancur question, I think he skirted around the meaning of the question. I think that the question was about the Sonny thing and the bottle incident and things like that. And I thought Ange took it as just almost like, yeah, he had a tough season with injuries and things. So he carefully skirted around, I think, what the meaning of the question was. I think, you know, let's be honest, 2 years ago under Conte, when we were all singing, he's the reason we're playing on Wembley next season, or playing on Wednesday next season. You know, everyone loves Bentancur. He was such an elegant player. I used to love watching him. Just the way he turned the ball around the corner. The first time, the fact he was always so much composure. And then obviously he got, let's be honest, he got the worst possible injury for a footballer to have. So it's been a long road back for him. I think that the only question mark for me over Rodrigo is always now, has he got the mobility for the Premier League? And that's the only thing. And it's not that I don't think he's got it, but obviously there's a question mark because of that injury is incredibly significant. And I think you can go to the Copa America, you could go and play in Spain, you could go and play in other leagues, and that lack of mobility wouldn't be as exposed as the Premier League can be. But fingers crossed, because you know I've always thought he was more of the six than Bissouma anyway. I've always felt he was the most press resistant. He was the one that just finds the angles for those passes that sets the tempo of a game. So I hope he can have a big season, and I just hope that we get at least 95% of that mobility back, because that's the only question mark about Bentancur, isn't it? I think everyone loves watching him play.
Oh, There's no doubt about it. When he's at the top of his game, he's an absolutely fine midfielder. There's no doubt. And again,
The
one of the top
composure is, I just love the composure of him.
Totally agree.
Total calmness. There's never a panic. You never see him hoof it into Rose on it. It's always, he always seems to have an awareness of space. And he's played, because he can play in that half turn, he knows when he's being pressed and he just opens the side of that foot off and the ball's instantly gone. I love watching him. He's so elegant as a player. I think long sleeves helps as well. It's just bizarre, isn't it? Like left-handers are more elegant playing cricket. Like in long sleeves, he's more elegant playing football.
So what you're saying is keep him in long sleeve. Do not let anyone...
long sleeves.
Coyte, you're listening to this. Do not let anyone give him a short sleeve shirt, all right, for the upcoming season when you're at home.
I always remember. I remember John Pratt always telling a story back about when he was playing in the 70s, because he used to roll his sleeves up and always used to people would go, "Yeah, you could see you were getting stuck in." And he said it wasn't the fact that that was the reason. It's because they only had one shirt, and back in those days they only had one shirt with one number on, and the sleeves were so long it went way past. But then again, that's the first time that John Pratt and Rodrigo Bentancur have been mentioned in the same sentence. But that was it. But that was the reason. But I know what you're saying. I agree with you. Love the long sleeves. Love the long sleeves.
Fantastic. Listen, what we are going to do, we are going to squeeze in our first break of the show for our listeners and audio. We've got nearly over 3,000 of you watching us live, as always. Thank you so much for all your incredible support for Last Word On Spurs. We are gearing up. We are starting to get excited for the return of the Premier League. We have to wait until Monday. Coyte asked the question, are we happy to wait until Monday?
No.
I can tell you what, I know Anthony Costa would be calling me saying, Rick, we're in the bottom three already. We haven't kicked the ball yet. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? The nature of the Premier League. What are we going to do? Listen, thank you so much for joining us. And listen, it is the big match preview. We're going to come on to Leicester really, really shortly. Of course, Spurs' first game of the season. Again, as Costa would tell you, it's that dreaded manager bounce. The manager bounce we all didn't want. It's the dreaded first manager bounce. Steve Cooper in there at Leicester, and very much full of praise for him. But I do want to ask you guys about Spurs' club record signing. Yes, Jason, we're delighted to know the Tungi Ndombele club record signing is gone. And in his place is, of course, the 65 million whopper in Dominic Solanke through the door. Tottenham's new club record signing, their genuine number 9. Ricks, we'll start with you if we can. Andrew's asked in the presser how he's been training this week. He went, thankfully, it's what we expected. He's a top pro, a good guy. He's sort of settled into the dressing room really, really well. Footballing-wise, you can see he's got all the attributes to kind of fit the system we want. There is that adjustment period we have to bear in mind, but so far, so good. He was asked, would he be good to go Monday? And he went, he should be. Ricks, do you have him in your starting lineup for Monday?
Yeah, why not, mate? Get him in, get him started, get him feeling the game, get him in the shout. Absolutely, why not? Get him in straight away. First game going, let him score a goal, let him start off with a flyer, and then all of us can get super excited, you know? I think it's an exciting signing. I didn't at first, I will admit it. You know, I was looking at the big names like Osimhen or someone like that. I was like, well, why don't we go and get him? But
and then we wake up.
But you know what? I think what Jay said there earlier was a really great point there about like players and the reasons that they want to come to your club. You know, we might look at Chelsea and go, well, they're signing everyone. You know, it doesn't matter who they want, they're just signing them. Why can't we have one or two of them? Well, their motivations for going Chelsea might be totally different, you know. And I think the fact that, you know, what Jace was saying there, the fact that Ange picks a player on whether they want to come to Tottenham and their character and their attitude and stuff like that, I think bodes well for the effort and going to war and the fight and the determination and going against all the memes and all the jokes that we receive throughout the seasons. You know what I mean? We can't be happy. We can't be sad. We can't be angry. There's always something to say. You know, there's always a meme of Tottenham and there's all of that stuff. So the players have got to take that on and they've got to fight against that as well. And they've got to prove everybody wrong, and they've got to shut everybody else up and keep us singing, keep us shouting. So get Solanke in. Get him up to speed as soon as we can. Get him a goal, a nice little kind of box-to-box goal, and in the 6-yard box goal, and it'll be fantastic, man. It will just kick the season off properly. And the fact that we wait till Monday means the only frustrating thing this is, it's great for the boys. They get more rest, more training sessions, like the boss was saying.
Which Ange agreed on, actually. That's what he said as well. He agreed on that Monday would be better for us.
Yeah, but it's not better for us fans because
No.
now that means I can't watch any football until Monday. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't watch any other team, especially at the beginning of the season, until Tottenham play. The season doesn't start until Tottenham play. So now I've got to miss the full, 2-day match of the day, Saturday, Sunday, the lot. I've got to miss everything until Monday, and then I can catch up.
It better be a good Monday, Rick, after this. If you're having to wait this long,
mate.
better be a good Monday.
Come on.
So, Rick, you don't avoid the scores then. So you don't avoid the score. You just don't want to watch the games. Is that right?
Yeah. I'll see the scores, but I just won't be able to watch no football until Monday.
What about if Arsenal lost? Would you then watch a bit of that, maybe?
No,
at the weekend?
I don't care about Arsenal at all. I don't care about them, bro. They don't exist. They don't exist to me.
That's
the only team that exists to me is Tottenham Hotspur. Forget them lot down the road until we play them.
Right. What I love is Rick has already shortened Solanke's name. He's not even played a game yet. Solanke. There you go.
Solanke.
He's already got a nickname. Solanke. Get ready, Coyte. That's what you'll be calling him, Solanke.
Well, that's what I'm just thinking. So if because there's obviously someone writing a song now. So I don't. What rhymes with Solanke? Well, is he lanky? Is he's like hanky panky? I mean, is he? I don't know. What goes with Solanke?
Paul, don't go there. Paul,
I know.
don't go there.
I know. Mate, no, not there. Oh, no, definitely not there.
You can't go
Okay, I'm going through the alphabet. I've got towards the end. So, yeah, this is not going... Okay,
Leave
right.
it.
Someone better than me is going to have to write something.
Don't go too near the end of the alphabet.
Okay, yeah.
I'll ask you, Paul, what do you think about the thoughts?
Thank you, Solanke. No, sorry, Rick. Yeah,
There
you
was a lot
lose
of
me now.
No. I love this. We've not even started yet. What a start.
Blanky. No, he's not going to score a Blanky. Hank, no. Sorry, as you were. I'll have a song by the end of this broadcast.
We will. Spurs song sheets, keep writing. We'll have Coyte there as the man that's tributed the song for him.
Yes, yeah.
Coyte, there was a lot of debate over the summer about Spurs looking for a number 9, debate about Tony, and obviously what that would have came with that kind of baggage, and obviously other number 9s.
Yeah.
Are you happy, Paul, we've settled for Solanke?
I'm happy, actually.
Now. I can't take him seriously now after this.
You know what? Well, of course, he's going to have a great song. He's going to score goals. And I saw someone just wrote on there, said, oh, yeah, is Paul going to say anything against the club? No, not really, because I'm a Spurs fan. First and foremost, I'm a Spurs fan before I work for the club, and I love them. And I've been going since like 76 for crying out loud. This is my 20th season. So absolutely. And I'm even at the point where, which may be naive, but I always look at it, and if there's someone I'm thinking, is that person right? Is that right there? And then I think, Big Ange knows more than I do. And I even kind of thought, I've even thought that with managers before.Maybe I've been wrong. But with Ange,
I can't believe that.
With Ange Postecoglou, this guy knows, and the board know, and especially after I said about the Johan Lang thing, and it was, I was so impressed by the things that I learned and the things that I'd heard them saying, and I just thought this is a club that it feels different. And it really does feel different from all the years that I've been there before, that there's a plan, something is, and I just feel it's going to work. So Dominic Solanke, I'm very happy with, and I think it's going to suit the way we play. And I really do. I'm going to touch wood. I expect that he is going to score a lot of goals this season. I really do believe that.
Let's hope. 19, of course, last season. It was, you've got to say, a really good season for him in a return where James obviously was playing a system that I think really suited his style. Many like it's the way Ange wants to play. Can I just say, just on the music, because obviously Timmy Winston over there at the Spurs song sheets, which again, with Tim, with the likes of James back, they're going to be back in that stadium. Catch on, Paul. This is the one. Money, money, money. Dominic Solanke playing for me in a big
Hold on.
world.
Lost me there. I'll just do that again. So I got the money bit.
Don't make me sing that again.
And I kind of lost the last bit. It's like the one that I really hated. I really hated. And the first time I heard it was at where were we? I think it was at Fulham, and it was the Mauricio Pochettino. His magic, And I thought, what the hell is that? And it was it's Magic by Pilot. And it took me about 2 months to realise what the fricking song was, because it was sung so, Magic, It's no, give me more than that. So that was the one that I didn't like. But sorry, I interrupted. Give it to us again, Rick. What was the money, the ABBA one? Money, go on.
I'm trying to find that. In a big hands
In a
world.
big
There you
hands
go.
world. I like it.
Listen, I'll leave it to that.
Money,
amazing-
money. I had Dom Solanke. No, it's okay. All right. It's
We'll
early.
leave it-
It's early days. He hasn't even played a game
Yeah,
yet. So give them
exactly.
time for the song. But it's
We'll
better
leave
than
it-
anything I came up with.
We'll leave it to the South Stand. We'll leave it to the wonderful South Stand to see us off on that one.
Although, if he had a pocket handkerchief in his shirt, has a pocket hanky, that would work with Solanke. So I'm thinking on my feet. I'll be quiet now.
This is why Cracks needs to come back and host this.
He might need the pocket hanky if he's done the other hanky.
Yeah.
Cracks, come back and save me and take over and do the singing for me, will you? Please. Right. What we are going to do, we're going to squeeze in a final break of the show for our listeners on audio. In that break, you're going to hear from a Leicester fan who gives you his thoughts for, of course, its upcoming game. And it's fair to say Leicester fans, they're a bit in trepidation of this one. They have changed manager, quite interestingly. And I think they are concerned about a potential points deduction coming in. Jace, I mean, look, many would say for those out there that are concerned as Spurs fans, it's that age-old manager bounce, should I say, and Steve Cooper coming in. Are you concerned about Leicester on Monday night? I mean, because again, it's not an easy place to go. And to be fair, football in terms, I say this, football in terms, they despise Tottenham, don't they? They really dislike us, Leicester fans.
You say it's like a tough, difficult place to go, but we've had...
I see where Jason puts me right.
No, but we've had mixed results, haven't we? I mean, we went there and won by 6 one night. We went there on the last day of a season where Bow and Kane caused carnage and tied up the golden boot. We had the Stephen Bergwijn moments. We've had Sonny pinging the ball in the top corner there. I think Chadley might have got another goal that night. Dele Alli's first goal. So there's been plenty of good times at Leicester as well. But obviously the last time, the Conte time, which is of course when Bentancur got injured, and we had let's be honest, it was probably the worst day of that season, wasn't it? That you lose by 4 to a relegated Leicester. I think that they've kind of created this mock rivalry, haven't they, because of the league title season, where they still sing, we've won more than you, but they seem to forget we've beat them in 2 cup finals. We've got 17 bloody trophies, not 2. So I don't quite know how that is. And they wave these pictures of empty trophy cabinets. Well, there's 17 boxy trophies in the cabinet. So calm down, boys. But no, I think Leicester...
You tell him, Jace.
Go on, Jace.
Go on, son. Go on, Jace. Go on,
Jace.
He's going, no, I don't have a problem with Leicester fans. I'll tell you another thing. You've got a long season ahead, Jace. It's all right.
Match day 1. Can you imagine against Arsenal? That's match day 4. How's he going to contain himself?
I don't think they're as good a side as that got relegated, if I'm honest. They've lost probably their best player in Dewsbury Hall. Madison's gone. Vardy's no longer the real part that he was before. Ian Acho moved on in the summer. So, and if with no disrespect, if Winksy's one of their key players, I think that tells you everything where, and I don't mean that in a bad way to Winksy at all, but, he wasn't good enough for Tottenham and he's one of their best players. So I think
I'm just waiting for Costa to give me a call now.
No, but I think that, there's no reason why we should have any trepidations going to Leicester. Steve Cooper didn't show anything at Forest in the few games we played against Forest. I think we beat Forest every time we played them quite comfortably. So, it's not like he's Kieran McKenna's maybe got more of a mystique about him than Steve Cooper at the moment.
I hate this. I can just see this being replayed. I can see this being replayed on Tuesday. I just stop now. Stop it.
So say they're not. It doesn't feel like.
Jason is the oracle in this show. Normally, what he says comes to fruition, but I hope he's bloody right, Paul.
I hope so. I tell you,
it doesn't quite feel like you're playing a newly promoted team, because in my mind, I still think of them as I mean, they won the Premier League. They were only out for a season. Ipswich coming up would be, I think, for me, would be a much harder game than Leicester because of the newly promoted thing. And I don't even think of Southampton that much as a newly promoted side. So Luton were, Ipswich were, Brentford were when they came up. But no, I can't see anything other than a comfortable night for Tottenham.
I hope you're right, Jace. I hope you're right. Listen, you are normally right, I've got to say on these things. Look, for Leicester, as you said, they've had a few changes during the summer. They've obviously lost their key man in Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. To be fair, they have got, as I said, this points deduction potentially hanging over them, which I think as a club is not easy. And again, the manager, to be fair, I don't think he's been everybody's first choice at Leicester. I think they were linked with Graham Potter earlier in the summer, coming over to you, Paul. And they've got Steve Cooper. Listen, he's a well-equipped manager, obviously Premier League manager as well.
Sure.
Thoughts on the game for you, Paul? Or are you a little bit more concerned than Jason seems to be?
Yeah, I'm always concerned. I mean, it's first game of the season, trepidation, away game. I'm confident. I am confident, but I'm always nervous. I mean, that's just the way I am, and I don't know whether it's a Spurs thing or whatever it is. I'd love to go into, any game and think, we're definitely, and I always, of course, pray that we're going to win. I'm nervous saying that I think we're going to win because maybe I'm more superstitious than I think I am. But I do think, whatever Jay said, we should be a better side. We're a better side. We are. He's right. What I'm saying, we're a better side. We should be a better side. And I'm very confident. So it's so important though, isn't it? That first game of the season. I know it's just one game, but it is so important. Psychologically as well, you want to get off to a good start. And look what happened last season. If we can get off to a really good start, it means so much. Because you don't want to be playing catch up for the rest of the time. So, Monday night, I'm all over it. I'm confident, but I'm always nervous. Always.
I think we've had Newcastle a couple of times when they came up, didn't we, on the opening day?
We have had a couple of times. Yeah, we have.
We've beaten them.
Brentford away last year. Yeah.
Newcastle away is a harder game, I think, than Leicester away as a newly promoted
especially the last kind of trips to Newcastle. God,
well,
we can wait. I can wait for that one to game. I can wait for that one for game week 38. Jesus, Newcastle away. Yeah, I tell you what. I mean, in terms of a team who's going into this game, for those that are interested, for Leicester, the biggest question will be whether Jamie Vardy is trusted to start for them. They have got some doubts over Connor Cody, Patson Daka, Kelechi Iheanacho. And again, it makes that point, we said there, Jason, they've actually kept hold of a number of their firmly well-established first-team players. Well, they have lost again. Dewsbury Hall, that was really the diamond amongst...
I thought Iheanacho had gone.
No, he's still there. He's still there at the moment. So
I think again, let's flash up that he'd moved.
Well, unless he's moved in the last 2 hours and this is out of date, I can double check.
We've just got to forget everything Jason just said. It's all out the window now.
Oh, no.
Joe is still alive.
Paul, a 14-0
What are you doing turning up? You're not supposed to be playing for him.
On that point, Paul, a 14-0 drubbing, can we still win the league?
Oh, are you asking me that? You're not really asking me that, are you?
Could we? Lee McQueen?
We always could. Of course. Of course, we always could. Of course.
Did he? On July 31st.
Get in, James.
Sevilla.
You're lying. You're not doing this to me.
He joined Sevilla on July the 31st.
Are you telling me that Jace knows more about a transfer than Ricky Sachs? What's going on here? What is going on?
All I would say is, Squawker, you've let me down. Squawker are telling me that he could get the potential nod, and there he is in a Seville shirt. Confirmed, Jace, yeah? 100%.
I thought he'd gone. I thought I saw him go.
I mean, he was on holiday there, though, wasn't he? That wasn't... That was...
Listen, this podcast gives you the most up-to-date information. It's unbelievable, unbelievably in-depth. And I got to tell you, he has left. But now everyone said as he's left. He's gone. Right. Forget about Kelechi Iheanacho. Jamie Vardy, there's a doubt over him. Now we all got to believe Jason again. I was looking forward to it.
We just got to... If only we can score some goals past Kasper Schmeichel, things are going to be great. We can get past that guy.
In Chilwell at left back, he looks good.
Yeah.
It does look good. I tell you what. Listen, in terms of lineup for this
player that worries me Monday night for them is Maddison. He's a super player. I think we should try and get Maddison.
Yeah.
Oh, where are you boys taking me on the show? Where are you taking me? You know what? Should we go over predictions?
Research.
Let's go. I tell you what. You try doing this with 2 kids under 4 and see what research you can get done. I tell you, it's a bloody nightmare.
Blame it on the holiday, Ricks. Blame it on the holiday. Holiday range.
This never happened when Crackers was doing the show and Sachs was away, was he? I mean,
it was much more professional, much more articulate. There was shit quizzes. There was I won't tell you what was being mentioned on here. It was past the watershed, I must say. Let's go to predictions for this one.
Free transfers to Seville yourself or what?
They can't afford me. Well, I say they can get me on a Bosman, maybe. Let's cut the predictions for this one. Let's go to Ricks. Ricks, big game Monday night. Jason set it up for it. Now be a cracker. You ain't watching any football till Monday. What we go for?
Come on, brother. You know me. First and foremost, never back my team to lose. Never will. Never have. Never will, mate. Never will. So I am predicting a Tottenham win, and I think we're going to go out 3-1 winners. I think we're going to start the season brightly. I think Sonny's going to get one. I think Solanke is going to get one, and then I think the third one's going to be Maddison, just to seal it with a little cherry on that cake.
You know, you made this point, Jace, actually on the show that you feel with Maddison going back their first game, he'll be absolutely pumped. I want to ask you, Jace, you know, pre-season wise, we actually mentioned this last week that the likes of Sarr, the likes of Maddison, the likes of Bissouma, obviously, of course, not available for this one, have only really played 45 minutes in the pre-season. Have you got any genuine concern that for a lot of these players now for Leicester on Monday, it will be a lot of them their first potential 90 minutes? Is that a concern for you or not really?
Concern, yes, but I think that's the case for a hell of a lot of clubs, Rick. So I think there's, you know, probably 60-70% of the Premier League players haven't played 90 minutes yet. It's in an international summer when players are coming back that last week. It's like I said, I think Arsenal have only got 2 players through 90 minutes yet. So Manchester City are making loads and loads of. I don't think De Bruyne has played 90 minutes yet, or things like that. So it's a concern overall, but it's not necessarily one for Monday night. I think, you know, like I say, I think the game suits Madders. He's not had the best pre-season. He's not in the best form. I can understand why 1 or 2 people suggesting that, you know, Bergvall should play over him. I understand what they're thinking, but I just think it's curse of the old boy, isn't it? If there's a game that's made to get the best out of Maddison, live on Sky, day 1 of the season, Leicester away, I just think it's set up for him. If he doesn't perform, there's no excuses, but I think it's the type of game that he'll be absolutely loving.
And I presume on that basis, Jace, you'd be really surprised if he's not in the starting 11 on that basis.
It's done if he doesn't play, yeah.
Who is your midfield, Jace, for Monday?
Benson
Wanyama, Dembele,
yeah.
Dave Mackay,
Alan Nielsen.
Dele in the 10. Oh, bless him, Dele Alli. He loved this fixture, Dele.
Personally, I would go Benson, Bergvall, Maddison, but I think he might still go for perhaps Sarr.
Yeah. Okay, Jace, let's get a prediction from you, and don't put £500 on Iheanacho as these guys just told us not to do either. Can't make this up. Where's this show gone? Don't tell me it's not lively on here. Always a bloody story. Come on, Jace.
Well, I quite like Rick, so I'm going to go the same one as Rick, 3-1 for a top win. Solanke
that would be a great start. That would be a great start to season, wouldn't it? I say, we can get off on the start like that.
Set piece for them.
Oh, typical, wouldn't it be? Set piece. You know, it's funny. I mean, Paul, you were there last week. I mean, do you pay much attention, Paul, to pre-season about set pieces?
No.
There was no, not at all. No concern.
No, I mean, I enjoy it, but I don't look at it and think, I've been to too many and thought, wow, this is going to be amazing. I think, wasn't it the year that Harry Redknapp, when he came in and that first date, before he came and it was a disaster, wasn't it?
Do you remember the 5-1 Coyte against Roma?
I'm trying to remember. I just remember the pre-season. I thought we were going to win everything. Yeah.
Benny put a free kick in the top corner, just signed, and we thought, Darren Bent scoring for fun. We've just won 5-1, and there we are, 2 points from 8 games. Not that Harry told us about it much, did he, Paul? Not much.
No, of course not. But no, I never take anything from friendlies. Yeah, managers, of course, will for different reasons, but I don't look at that and think, this is how the season's going to go. I don't take any notice whether we're playing or whether anybody else does. It's just not relevant. I don't think of how the season's going to go. So it all gets going on Monday. Do you want me to predict this?
If you don't mind, I know you don't really like doing these kind of things.
It's only because I'm bad at it. So I was thinking 3-1 because that's the usual. Everybody always predicts a 3-1, don't they? Any Spurs fan always predicts a 3-1. So I'm either going to go 3-0 or 2-0. So I will go 2. I think I'll be conservative. First game of the season, we win 2-0.
I love that. Now, Paul, I want to close the show with you. I want you to give us some
song.
Optimism. Oh, we'll come on to that in a second. We will come on to that in a second. Give us some optimism what's like behind the scenes there, Paul. I mean, look, it's Andy's second season. Yep. You see these players, fortnightly, fair to say, unless you're down around there for their dinner sometimes. You can tell us if you want to tell us on that point.
Of course.
How do you think the vibe is in the camp right now? Do you feel like you've seen a lot of difference? Not to age you at all. I wouldn't ever do that. You're still looking 21. You've seen a lot of different Spurs groups over the course of your time following the club, being around the club. how excited do you think fans should be about this group? Because to be fair, I mean, look, we started last season, in Lee McQueen's words, like a crazy train, 10 games unbeaten. We had that unbelievable start, the bump in the middle. We never quite really got back to the heavy heights of that start of the season. How do you think in general the vibe is around the cabinet? There's a real willingness and belief with those young players we spoke about to get this club finally over the line. And I'm going to say to you, win a bloody trophy.
Yeah, I think there is a real vibe amongst them. I think what happened last season, I think it was almost like it made a rod for their own back, the start of the last season, because it was almost, and I think even the management would openly say it was almost too good because they expect a long project. They didn't expect it to go as well as quickly as it did, which is great for all of us because we get very excited and we're thinking we're really onto something. They're thinking long term. So I think there was, a little bit of hesitation amongst them thinking, you know what, this will not last. I just don't think this will last because this is not part of the plan. We're doing really well, but we didn't expect to be doing as well as we are at the start. We're at season 2 now, so we can get a really good start, and I don't think we need to worry quite so much. Chelsea and everything, I mean, this is a water under the bridge. It was just one of those things. It was almost like the footballing gods were looking at us and everything went wrong that could have done, and then it set us back. This time, I'm really, really confident, but it's so important that we get off to a good start. We know who we've got very early on in September. We want to get, I'm happy to have that game very early. And I think, then we've got Everton, haven't we, after Leicester? Yeah. Let's get a really good start. And you know what? And I think someone has it ever been said, take each game as it comes? Has anybody ever said that before? Because I think that's maybe the way that we should. I think I've come up with a new phrase that we should take each game as it comes. But they said it for a reason. I'm very confident. The vibe is good. We're very excited. Let's get this going. Come on. Up the Spurs. Come on.
Come on. We need that. Right. We're going to close it on these points. I want to say
what match day is Chelsea?
Ricky's already blessed.
What match day is Chelsea?
He's here again.
I'm here, mate. This year's going to be different. I don't care.
We have been saying this for the last 8 on here. I mean, Rick says to me this summer, don't worry, I'll be there. I think poor bloke, he's been on here.
It's become a thing now.
Flying start until we play Chelsea.
I've got one other thing to tell you, and this is my daughter has just done her A levels and she's going to be going to university. So I'd said, and so it was going to be either Manchester. Turns out it's going to be Manchester. It was either going to be Manchester or Glasgow. So I'd said to my wife and I'd said, look, what we'll do. This is before the fixtures were out, and I said, look, what I'll do is I will have to, if it means that we're moving her up, it's more important. Family, it's very important. So I'll have to go up with her, and then we'll get her settled and everything. And if it turns out unlikely, it's one of those things. If we happen to be playing at home that day, then, I'll just have to miss the game. Simple as that. Fixtures come out on that day, Arsenal at home. So I've gone, you know what? I think she'll probably be okay. And if I go up maybe a week later, it's absolutely right. That second week in September. So she'll be fine. And I think, bless her, my wife even said, you can't miss that. So I think so. So you know what?
That's why
is that bad?
That's why you're married.
Absolutely.
That's okay though, right? I can do that. I mean, that's not bad, is it?
I'll tell you what the date is. Arsenal. Oh my God, Arsenal. I'm already getting palpitations thinking about it. We are looking at Arsenal the date of
15th of September, is it?
15th, yes. Yeah. We are the 2 o'clocker.
On the Sunday.
On the Sunday.
It's the Sunday.
Okay. God, we're older result there now, aren't we? God, it's been
I knew it wouldn't be the 3 o'clock Saturday. I knew it would be TV. I just couldn't work it be the 4 o'clock or the Saturday lunchtime or whatever.
It's at home though, isn't it? It's at the
bizarrely, isn't it? Normally it always is we go away first, so we're home this time. Yeah, so it's an interesting change to that for certain. Look, it is going to be another exciting roller coaster season, as we'll say on here. Strap in. We've got you covered all the way. Courtney's got you covered in the stadium all the way. I want to say, Mazzy, thank you. Jace, looking forward, mate, to season wherever we are. We're here again. Yeah. We're back again. Like we've never been away.
I'm just going to book a flight to Seville to go and watch Iheanacho, mate.
Let's know if he's worth signing, will you? We might need.
I'm going to go to East Midlands Airport, see if I can sneak a look first, and then go to Seville from there.
Never.
They'll say he left here 2 years ago. What are you talking about? That's what it is.
I want to say thank you, Ricky Norwood. Rick, thank you so much, my man. Lovely having you back on. We'll see you, of course, throughout another Busy campaign on here, right? It's busy campaign.
Absolutely. I can't wait for the season to start. I'm so happy to be back on with you boys. And
bless you.
On the kind of, it's not the eve yet, but close enough of the eve of the season starting. You know, it's super exciting. And what a panel to be on, man.
Well,
just to hear Paul's voice today has got me ready for the start of the season. So, let's have it. And
I mean,
for all those that were asking in the comments as well, you know, if Paul's tan goes beyond the t-shirt, it doesn't. He wore the t-shirt. Underneath it's a totally different.
That's right. You've seen it, Rick. Yeah, you've seen it. Yeah. That's correct.
He showed us before we started the show. So for all of those, no, he's fine. He's fine.
Yeah. I love that.
Better than them bloody pink sequins you wore last year on that eye.
We loved it.
Well,
he did wear them well. He pulled them off.
Did you get to keep those, by the way, Ricky? Or do you have to hand them back?
No, I gave them all back, bruv. I gave them all back. Yeah, I still have my boots, though.
Still got the boots.
Yeah.
They still get the boots. They got the boots. You never know you might need them. You never know you might need them.
You never know.
Listen, it's been a great. Go check Ricky out. Ricky J Norwood on the Insta as well. Go and find him. He'll be back with us very, very soon. And Paul, I can't think. Where do we find you? Where do we see you? We don't see you much. Where can we find you? Where are you located?
Where am I located? GB News every morning with Eamon Holmes. Every morning at 6 and 6:30 and 7 and 7:30, right from 6 until 9 every morning on the TV.
But you don't get that much Spurs, do you? Where are you at Spurs? We don't really see you much. Where are you?
You don't. You know, I'm around somewhere. I'll be dotted around. You'll hear me from somewhere, mate. You'll hear me from somewhere.
And Danny, doesn't he do it so well? And honestly, I've got to say to you, Paul, it's 2 years now to make him, but those introductions, Pedro, I'm not even going to try it. We'll leave it to Paul. We'll leave it to Paul for next week.
Dragussi. That's the first time I've said Radu Dragussi. And funny enough, I was standing right next to Yves Bissouma. I think it was for the Bayern Munich game, and I found myself. He was standing right next to me, and I just looked at me in the eye and went, Yves Bissouma. So I think maybe, I don't know whether it's anything to do with me, what happened, but anyway. But I mean, it's just fun, isn't it? We just have fun. And the trumpeter, let's just have some fun. And
you just do it so well. That's why we love you.
It's about entertainment, enjoying it, and up the Spurs.
And you are amazing, and we love you for it. Listen, guys, thank you so much for incredible support. Nearly over 4,000 of you who have watched this show live. Again, we love you. We thank you for your support into our 9th season. Jason, all those years ago, mate, we started and we were so much healthier, younger, better looking. I mean, you've done well. You're still looking good. I feel like I've aged 20 years, but there we go. I want to say a massive thank you to
We've been up Everest and down the Grand Canyon ever since, haven't we?
Listen, it's a battle. We love this football club. We love these fans. You're all amazing. We love you for it. The wonderful Jason McGovern, the superb Ricky J Norwood, from the brilliant Paul Coyte, the voice of Spurs. We've been the last word on Spurs. What about you before you know it? And as always, let Paul say it. Paul, say it, the words. Come on.
Enjoy the game. Get behind the team.